What's up, you guys? Welcome back for yet another Next Step Outdoors gear review. I'm super excited today to do this video. I got a really good response the last time I did this, but since I've upgraded almost every piece of my equipment, a couple things are still the same, but pretty much my entire system is flipped upside down, and I'm excited to show you guys all about it. So before we dive in an effort to reduce some of the stupid comments that I'm already anticipating, I know, trust me, we all know, your grandpa used to shoot booners wearing a red flannel, sitting on a stump. He'd carry him out Cam Hanes style, 3 miles, and then he'd rip his back straps out with his bare hands and eat them raw. You don't need all of this gear to kill big bucks. I think that's established by now. So with that out of the way, let's jump in. The first big change from when I made the previous video is my system was built entirely around a Lone Wolf Assault 2 tree stand, whereas now I've actually been saddle hunting for 2 full seasons. Public land, private land, almost exclusively saddle hunting. This past year, I ran the Latitude Outdoors Classic 2. It's super simple, it works. I wouldn't change a thing about it. I got all my ropes here in a little dump pouch. I got a hook here to carry up my saddle platform up the tree when I go. And I got a bow hoist connected right to the side here. So everything's super compact, it's very efficient, and it just absolutely works for me. So I actually just wear my saddle on my way in to go hunt. I used to put it in another little bag, attach it to the back of my backpack because I thought it might get sweaty and get extra scent on it or something like that. But what I figured out is it just ended up being more noise, more moving around, more fumbling once you actually got to your spot. So in an effort to reduce that, I just put it on at the truck and I hike in. The other thing I wear into the woods with me, aside from my backpack and my saddle, is my binocular harness. So I'm gonna throw this thing on really quickly. Goes on really easy, and then it's attached to my chest. It's fixed to my chest. I don't have to hold on to it. I'm not digging through my backpack if I need them in a pinch. And then if I see a deer or see something I need to check out, if they're right here, I can drop them, hands-free, grab my bow, I can do whatever I want. I've tried a few of these harnesses now, and I found this one to be the absolute quietest. I've had the Vortex brand one that came with the binoculars that are inside here that I'll talk about in a second. I found the material just to be very loud opening and closing. So inside here, I have the 10x42 Viper HD binos by Vortex. These aren't cheap. It's good quality glass. In my opinion, it's worth every penny though, because they have a lifetime warranty, so I figured buy once, cry once. It makes a huge difference to be able to see in low light, to be able to see in thick cover, and all it takes is a glimpse of one tail, one tine, something like that to get an idea of where this deer might be bedding, and so you can go make a move on it. So good glass makes all the difference. Buy the best glass you can afford. I can't recommend a good pair of binoculars and a nice bino harness more, and this one again is my favorite, the Alps Extreme. And then the other things that I keep in my bino harness, on the side here there's a little elastic pocket. And this hasn't changed since my last video. This is a little rubber change purse. And inside it, it's not full of coins, it's milkweed. It's dry milkweed. So as I'm walking in, I can be checking the wind, dropping milkweed. And why milkweed works a lot better than the powder and the dust is because the powder, you're just seeing a split second of what that wind's doing. Whereas milkweed, you can actually watch the milkweed go and ride the thermals, and it might come all the way back to you. It's amazing what you can learn with milkweed. Get a little change purse. I found that this keeps it dry, so it keeps it light, keeps it floating better than if you just had it in like something else. The last thing that I keep in my bino harness, there's this little zippered pocket on the bottom, and this doesn't get open very often, but I'll keep my tags in there in a Ziploc bag, make sure everything stays dry if I'm hunting a state that needs a physical tag, and then it's with me all the time. And no matter if I end up hunting from the ground with my ghillie suit, if I end up hunting in a pop-up blind or whatever circumstances, I'm always gonna have my binoculars with me, so I'm always gonna have my license. And then the last thing that I wear into the woods with me every time is my rangefinder. As soon as I get out of the truck, I put on my binoculars, put on my rangefinder, and this is the Vortex Impact 1000. I've had a couple other rangefinders. I've tried quite a few that I did not like, some name brand ones where it just doesn't read, whether it's foggy, low light, trying to range grass for whatever reason, it's not dense enough to actually give you a number. This one will give you a reading almost every time. You can actually hold it down and it'll continue to range as you move, which is cool. It has the arc compensation and all that good stuff. Just another quality product, and again, Vortex has an awesome warranty program, so I've been sticking with their stuff. It works. I'm not sponsored by them by any means. If they want to sponsor me, hey, hit me up. But I've been rocking Vortex stuff and been really happy with it. Shall we get into the actual pack now? Everything here is set up the exact same way, regardless of if I'm mobile hunting or hunting a preset tree stand, with the exception of obviously the saddle platform and the sticks. So real quick, this is how I carry everything in. Works really well. I've made a video on that already, but these are, see if I can take these off without scratching up my coffee table. Whoops. These are by far the best sticks I've ever used. These are the 20-inch fixed Shakars by Out on a Limb. I've got them all modded out. I'm not gonna walk through all that right now, but you can see I got them daisy chained here instead of a pull strap. I got them stealth stripped. I got some other stuff. Again, not gonna go too deep into it, but these things are super light, super simple. If you notice a theme for the majority of my hunting stuff, I like to keep it simple, stupid, because all the camera gear, all that stuff adds complexity. So where I can, I like to be as simple as possible. These things are super light. I'm holding these straight out. They absolutely dominate compared to the full length Hawk Helium sticks I had when I first started this mobile hunting journey. And I can get just as high with these. I use a Versa 8er from Backwoods Mobile Gear. Can't recommend his stuff enough. He's a great guy, but absolutely love this. I'm gonna set these off to the side though, so I don't tear up my table here. And then the other thing that I have on the front of my pack here, and if I do have extra layers, camo layers, if it's cold out, I don't hike with all my layers on. I generally hike with just a base layer, have everything else strapped on top of my platform here. But unclip this. And this is the OG Predator platform by Tethered. Again, I got some mods. I got it spray painted and stealth stripped and some other things. But this has worked really, really well for me. It's super simple. I don't want anything bigger than this. I know there's some bigger saddle platforms on the market. That kind of defeats the whole purpose of saddle hunting in my mind. I want to be as mobile and efficient and lightweight as possible because, as you'll see, I got other stuff that I need to kind of balance out my system with. But this has been really good to me. I've been running this for, I think, 3 seasons. Now we're getting into the good stuff. So everything in this backpack goes in the same exact place every single time. I know my backpack very well, so if there's an empty pocket or an empty pouch, I know what's missing and I can track it down and put it back. Now, before you dislike this video because there's some camera gear in here, let me remind you that I am a YouTuber. I self-film all of my hunts, and I've been doing that long before I actually had a YouTube channel because I like to be able to relive my hunts. I like to be able to relive those memories and share those with friends and family. So I'll unclip this. This is my camera arm by Fourth Arrow. This is the Carbon Arm 3.0, I think it's called. I got a Manfrotto head on here and a remote so I can zoom. I do everything basically with just the press of a button and a switch. I can zoom, I can turn my camera on and off, I can record just by using my one thumb, which makes it very easy. Now I got it all taped up just so it's more camouflage, so it deadens the noise, but this always goes in the same exact place. But I'll set this over here for now. And then on this side, for starters, I have my 360 camera, which was new this year, get it out of my face. As a self-filmer, it was really challenging to get footage of myself walking in, doing different things, setting up, and this has been a really good answer. It has this stick, selfie stick. I know everybody hates that term, but the camera is really cool. There's a camera on both sides since it's a 360 camera, and it stitches out this stick so it makes it look invisible. So a lot of times I'll have it extended and recording while I'm hiking in and be able to record myself and the surroundings. And then when I get in the tree, I also get it set up and I have a 360 view of what's going on around me just in case I miss the shot on my primary camera, which has happened too many times, or I can catch different things happening in the woods. If you're not into the whole self-filming thing with the big camera and everything else, like a GoPro and a 360 camera, you can do a lot of damage with this, or even just your cell phone and a 360 camera. And then I got this little neoprene sleeve that just protects it. So the other thing I have on the side of the pack is a water bottle. This is a 1 liter Nalgene bottle. I found that this is a perfect amount of water to bring in for just a normal hunt. If I'm doing an all-day sit, I'll generally bring 2 of these and just find a place in my pack to fit it. It's hard. I can open and close them really quiet. If you just use like a normal water bottle, like out of a 24 pack, they crunch and they're shiny, they make a bunch of noise. The things on the top of the bag are things that I want readily available, one quick grab away. I got my GoPro in here with a head strap. A lot of times I'll just wear this into the woods with me to get an additional view of me setting up and some additional footage, but if for some reason I decide not to, I'll put it in that top pocket, just keeps it protected, keeps it available in case I do want to put it on at some time. It's crazy how good these GoPros are getting. It's honestly stupid. But also in here, I have my headlamp because when it's dark, I'm not trying to be fumbling around in the bottom of my pack, digging through stuff, trying to find my headlamp. And then same thing, if I go in for a morning and I set up in the dark, take it off, put it in the top of the bag, I know exactly where to get it. And this is the best headlamp that I've used yet. It's by Black Diamond. I forget exactly what model, but it's super bright. It has a bunch of different colors, brightness levels, and it's super adjustable. Black Diamond headlamps are really good. Also in here, I keep my Streamlight ProTac. It's the 2AA version. This thing is very small. It's like the size of a pen or a pencil, but it is so bright. Great for tracking deer, but it is crazy. I mean, you can light up an entire field with this little light right here. It's moderately priced, worth every penny. This thing's lasted me 6-7 years now. The other thing that I have in the top of my bag here is my release. A lot of times I'll actually have this in my pant pocket as well. But this is the True Ball Rave release, and I'm a big fan of the thumb button versus the wrist strap for a lot of different reasons. One is for self-filming reasons. This just hooks to your D-loop the entire time you're hunting and just hangs there. So if there's a deer, I got my bow in my left hand and I'm trying to film him with my right, instead of having to, film the deer, range, whatever, and then look away, clip on my release, and then go back to the deer, draw and shoot. The release is just hanging there at all times, so I can range the deer. If he takes a couple steps, I can re-range him without looking away. Just grab my release, draw back, and I'm ready to go. Just makes it a ton easier in my opinion. I also think I'm a lot more accurate using a thumb button release versus the traditional wrist strap in the index trigger. Awesome release. I really like this one. Again, it's the True Ball Rave. The other thing that would be in this top pocket is food, whether it's a protein bar, peanut butter and jelly sandwich, some trail mix, maybe all of them together. But I'm the type of person that would rather have things and not end up needing them than to end up in the woods longer than you planned on and not being prepared. One thing I haven't touched on yet is the pack itself. This is the Sitka toolbox. This thing is an absolute workhorse. I've used this same exact pack for 5 or 6 years now, and it's super, super durable. Those zippers are still intact. There's no holes or anything. And whether you're a tree stand hunter, saddle hunter, this thing will work for you. It's got these really nice padded hip straps, which is nice for getting the weight off of your shoulders and carrying that load on your hips instead. Makes the pack in a lot more enjoyable. But then once you actually flip this bad boy open, you have all these pockets up here, and you can actually hang it. You see there's a hole there. You can actually hang it right there if you wanted and hang it open this way, so you have access to all of this and this main compartment. I generally don't do that. We'll skip the top section for now and go right into the main compartment. When I hike into the woods, I actually keep my Sony camera that I'm filming this with in here as well, just sitting right on top of everything with my shotgun mic and everything attached. It's a little sketchy for how nice of a camera it is, but I've been doing the same thing for 2 seasons. I've yet to have anything bad happen, so it seems to be working. And then in this front compartment, and I'll kind of lean this, hopefully you can see that, I'll pull this out. And this usually comes out while I'm still on the ground and goes into one of my cargo pant pockets on my camo pants. And what this is, I'm super proud of for putting this together. It's a little cumbersome, but it completed my entire mobile system. The strap solved the problem that I've been having of trying to find a good solution for using my Sony camera on public land. And what I've done, and I'll go through this, I'm really proud of. This is an over center buckle. So again, it's a little cumbersome, but on this strap, I have my bow hanger, I have my method for attaching this Sony camera so I can film myself, and I got a bunch of gear hooks on here. And how an over center buckle works is it just hooks on, and this buckle turns over center buckle, and it cinches down really, really tight, like stupid tight to the tree. I've stealth stripped out all the metal, so it's really quiet. There's no shiny pieces or anything like that. There's nothing clanking together because it's super important when you're trying to set up close to bedded deer that you're as silent as possible. But on here, I have a bow hanger. This is the Genesis 3D printed bow hanger. This is the smaller option of the two. I really like it. I actually prefer the bigger gear hanger, the bigger bow hanger, but since I got all this other stuff going on, I elected to go with a smaller one while I'm using my Sony camera. But it folds up really nice, and I just kind of wind it together. Now this is what I was most proud of and answered all the problems that I have. Between this and the over center buckle and the strap, this fixed my problem. This arm is actually designed for trail cameras. It's made by Bog, and I'll put a link down below. But it's got this little ball head on top here, and it's threaded the same size that goes on your Sony camera or most cameras, DSLR, mirrorless cameras. And then it's got this little adjustment so you can move it back and forth, kind of just get it adjusted right. And then it pulls to the tree really strong. It's a solid base. and I just thread my camera on there and I'm able to film myself, talk to the camera, have really, really quality footage without having to put anything into the tree. So this solved a big problem for me. And then the little gear hangers I have on here, these loops, these are off of the Latitude Outdoors gear strap, which I'm really bummed out I couldn't make work for my system. I couldn't get the gear strap tight enough with my heavy camera on this thing to work, but I'll show you that because if you're not filming and not trying to do anything crazy like I'm doing right now, it's a way better option than this strap. So this is the Latitude Outdoors gear strap, and on it I have the full length Genesis 3D printed bow hanger, but then I have these little loops here, and on each loop I have an S-beaner. So I can hook my rattling antlers, if I need to take my binoculars off for some reason, my grunt call, whatever it is, my coat, I have a little hanger, and I have 3 of them on there, and I can move them around the tree to have them exactly where I want. So if I want something just on the back of the tree out of the way, I can do that. If I need something right in the front, I have that as well. So it hangs on the tree like this, and then this part that hangs down, I put this little carabiner on. And what the carabiner does is it hooks onto your backpack. So if you can imagine this, your stuff's up here, your bow's hanging, you have everything else hung. Your backpack is hanging from this strap, and you can just tighten it, pull your backpack up to where you are one-handed, and then release it, and your backpack will go down out of the way. And this is just a little 1-inch piece of webbing. I mean, it's super strong. It'll hold anything you want. Just didn't quite work for what I needed, but it balls up into basically nothing, especially if you don't have this giant gear hanger on here. So good option, check them out, Latitude Outdoors. Again, they make the saddle too. Great company, Michigan based, everything's made in America. So again, everything in here gets packed in the order in which it needs to be taken out. When I pack up at the end of the hunt, it goes back in reverse order. So after I get my gear strap at the top of the tree, the second thing that goes on is my 4th arrow shoulder and base combo. And this is the talon base. These little talons fold out here. Give you good grip onto the tree, but folds up really nice and compact. And instead of the stock strap, I got another one of those over center buckles. Because why would you want a ratchet strap when you're trying to sneak in close to these deer? So it just clips on, that buckle folds over, locks into the tree really tight. And as you can see, it's all camoed up. That's not how it came. Those are stealth strips by Stealth Outdoors. It's the best silencing strips that I've found. Super durable, the adhesive is super strong, and it's really, really quiet. So once I get that attached to the tree, I would then pull off my camera arm. I know I'd already pulled that out just for the sake of getting it out of the way, but that drops down into there, and then this is where my primary camera goes, so I can film just like I would if it was a tripod, and I can film everything one-handed. So generally at this point in time, I would take my Sony camera out, which I'm filming this, attach it to my gear strap up top just to get that out of the way. So now we have the base, we have the camera arm all hooked up already, we have a gear strap, we have the Sony camera already hooked on there. Next thing, I would normally just flip this open, and I'll pull it out so you can see what I got going on. This is just a very cheap Amazon Basic camera case. It's got a lid that flips open, but what I did inside is the real magic. So I'm just gonna set this off to the side, get it out of the way. But what I got going on inside here, this is actually a cereal container that I bought at the Container Store. Wrapped it in this silencing tape just to make it quiet. Did it the same thing on the inside just for a little bit of padding. But inside this, I keep my camcorder and my shotgun mic. And this is the Canon XA30, absolute beast of a camera. They don't make it anymore. It only shoots 1080p, doesn't shoot 4K. So I'll probably be upgrading this piece this year. But this thing has awesome low light capabilities, and the optical zoom is incredible. It's a 20x optical zoom. Most camcorders only go up to about 10x or 12x if you're lucky. A lot of times they'll advertise a 400x digital zoom, but digital zoom distorts the quality. So 20x optical zoom is really, really good, and the low light capabilities are absolutely awesome. I think the comparable model to this that's still available is the Canon XA11. But basically I would take my shotgun mic here, plug in the mic, and then I would attach it to my camera arm and just get that out of the way. And this shotgun mic is really nice. It's a Sennheiser MKE 400. It just takes one AAA battery. It can last like the entire season but really, really high quality audio with this, and just a really badass setup in general. Any of my hunts on my channel this far, the primary camera I use is this right here if you want to check some of those out. So getting back to the inside, I'll tip this so you can see in here. There's this big compartment where the cereal container goes, but there's side pockets here, and there's also back pockets. In this back pocket, I keep a mini folding saw. I keep this in here all the time. I use this pack interchangeably, so regardless of where I'm hunting, this is what I have in it. But if I'm on private land and need to trim some branches before I go up the tree, or as I'm climbing the tree, if I need to clear a shooting lane, it's always nice to have a mini folding saw. Really compact. This thing has been just absolutely taking a beating and still works like a charm. And again, it goes in the same pocket every time. So even if my pack is on my back and I'm climbing and I find that there's a branch in my way, I can reach back there, pull out my saw, flip it open, and I'm ready to go. And then on the other side, I got my grunt call. And this is the True Talker. This thing is an OG of a grunt call. I think they still make it, but I've grunted in, I think, $2 with it and killed them. And again, it goes in the same pocket every time. So as my backpack's hanging there and I see a deer I need to grunt to, I can reach in there without even looking, pull out my grunt call, and I'm good to go. In the side pocket, I keep what looks like just a grocery bag. Sounds like a grocery bag, but it's a rain cover for my camera. But it's nice to have as a cheap insurance option to keep your camera gear dry. Finally, we're getting to the top stuff here. In this pocket here, I keep a backup release. I've heard horror stories of people dropping their release out of the tree, not being able to find them, especially using a thumb button. I guess that's a real possibility. It's never happened to me, knock on wood. But this is the True Ball Max Pro 4. A nice little release. I mean, I would use it as my primary release if I didn't have this other one. So I keep this in here at all times in case I forget my release, in case I lose my release. Shit happens. I don't want to be out in the woods, realize I don't have a release and not be able to hunt. So I always keep this with me. Also in here, I keep extra batteries. So I got Sony battery, GoPro battery, a Canon battery, and my Insta360 1X2 batteries, which I don't have, and then just a couple lens wipes. I mean, being out in the woods, your camera gear gets dirty. It's nice to have these ready to go, rip them open, and always available. Up here, this is kind of my emergency. Again, I'd rather have things and not need them versus need things and not have them. So this is my always prepared oh shit pocket. I have an external battery pack, whether I need to charge camera gear or my phone. Also in here is my Spot Gen 4 GPS emergency communication device. I don't even really know what you call this, but it's new this year for me. And this is a true oh shit device. If you're out in the middle of nowhere with no service and something catastrophic happens, I can message people, I can call emergency personnel, get rescued. So just a good thing to have, especially as you get older, you have family, stuff like that. It's not super expensive. I don't remember exactly, maybe $100, $200, but for what it could cost you for not having, just a good thing to have. I also got one of these for my dad for a lot of our out-of-state trips. The other things I keep in here is a compass and a mini lighter. Most of us, including myself, are way too dependent on Onyx and other satellite GPS mapping tools. But what happens if something happens to your phone? You drop it, your battery dies, you break your phone, you lose your phone. Compass is a really cheap, lightweight security option to make sure you can find your way back to civilization. If you're way back in the bush, at least have a travel direction and make sure you're heading the right way, because it's really easy to get turned around, especially at nighttime. And then a lighter. It's very small. I mean, lightweight. Having fire is always a good thing. I don't know how many people are truly hiking as far back as they say, but what happens if you're a mile, 2 miles back, you get wet, you fall into the river, and you're freezing cold? Having a little mini lighter, again, this thing's tiny. It's just a good thing to have with you. Never needed it, hopefully never will. Just nice to have. And last, but certainly not least, we have zip ties. Zip ties are a really nice way to tag animals, so I always keep a couple in my bag. And then my gutting knife. And this is a 3.5-inch razor light. It's really cool. Folding knife, first of all, with a nice bright orange rubber handle. Makes it really easy to find if you drop it. It's made by Outdoor Edge. This is the knife that has the replaceable blades. I bought some really nice sharpeners. I really suck at sharpening knives, and having a sharp knife makes all the difference, whether you're gutting, skinning, just dealing with deer in general. But that's it, guys. This stuff looks a lot more manageable, all laid out, organized like it is right now. And again, most of the stuff lives in my pack. It only comes out when I really need it, but this is a system that works best for me. Might not work for you, but hopefully there's a couple things in here that might make your life just a little bit easier. If you got any value out of this video at all, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll see you guys next week.